A fighter trains with the best and wins with a KO. Kelly Orchard's podcast for successful badassery. Fruitful Fridays with Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day and Weekend Vibes. Let's take a bite of some Apple a Day topics. Certifying badasses, one podcast at a time. Badass certification class in progress.
Well, not exactly in progress, but in the progress of promoting and selling seats. That's right, the Badass Certification class. We are having one coming up next month. I'll tell you about that later. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Fruitful Friday. I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier. Glad to be back in the saddle doing my podcast again. Yes, on Wednesday I gave you kind of an update of Sedona and how things went. And today is Fruitful Friday. It is October now, which is fall. And, you know, that's a time we practice gratitude and all that other stuff. And so, of course, I've got my Apple a Day. And we are living an extraordinary life on the Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day on this same platform that you see this podcast on. But, you know, gratitude is going to start beginning up in November. And, you know, I have a vibe for you on this Friday, which I usually do. And that vibe of the day, once you decide you want to live a good life, the universe will start moving things for you to have it. The people you will need appear. The healing you need will happen. The doors you need will open and unlock. Once you truly, sincerely decide, miracles will happen. Remember, the D in badass means decide. And that's what we're focusing on this entire month of October. What month is this? It is October. It's fall. And so let's talk a little bit more about burnout. You know, part of my reason to go to Sedona was to not get burned out, to prevent the burnout. And, you know, I share a little bit about what's been going on with me. And of course, the friends that I went with went for the same purpose. We wanted to reset. We've all been going through some stuff. We're all business professionals, and we all wanted to have that opportunity. Did you know that burnout takes an enormous toll on employees and organizations? Burnout results in 120,000 deaths per year and 190 billion in healthcare spending. In addition to increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, gastrointestinal issues, and high cholesterol, employees who feel burned out are 23% more likely to visit the emergency room. Companies see 376 less engagement, 87% more turnover, and 22% decreased work output when employees feel the burnout. Burnout affects everyone, regardless of age, role, industry, or tenure. It's not just doctors and nurses who are burning out. Employees in all industries, millennials and boomers, blue-collar and white-collar workers are doing more with less and feeling an increasing amount of stress, especially in these days and now times. So this is a time, if you're an employer or you're an employee, I'm talking to you. And even if you're not either one of those, or you're a parent or a leader, or you're living alone, or whatever it is, the stress is what is causing you to feel badly. Physical ailments. Okay, so I'm helping you reduce the effects of stress. I shared a little bit about heart math with you on Wednesday's podcast. The reason why I'm sharing more about heart math is because I'm going to start introducing it more into my practice. I am certified, and I acquired the M-Wave technology, which I'm going to love working because it actually helps us to visualize and see and track your results and how you are actually changing the rhythm of your heart. If you want more about that, please go back to Wednesday's podcast, just the one before this one, where I share a little bit more about that on Wednesday. And I will do more of that on Wednesday Wisdom. You know, so what we're doing right now is we're going to review your year so far. This is the fourth quarter crush, and we can still hit some goals and finish the year with successful badassery. That's why I'm doing this right now in October, rather than waiting until December when people usually start thinking about the end of the year. Well, why do this when you're in the midst of the holiday celebrations? Why don't we start it now in October? let's review your year, but we're only reviewing the successful stuff or the things that you recovered from. We're taking an entirely positive approach here. And then whatever holes or gaps you feel that there, it's still, we got plenty of time to fill in the holes and make sure that you have had a successfully badass year. So you can do that in a number of ways. You can just stay in the slow lane on the Bus to Badassville by just continue to come back to the podcast, and that's wonderful. You can sign up for the Badass Certification class, which is coming up on November 19th, and help support breast cancer awareness because proceeds are going to go to Michelle's place. Or you can also sign up for my digital online course, License to be Badass program, which is not therapy, but it is very therapeutic, and it has all of the tools in the Badass acronym. So really, I've given you several options on how you can continue to be successfully badass. So let's just kind of review real quick those questions that I asked on Wednesday, just so that you can remember and reflect. And then if you want to go back and re-listen to the Wednesday podcast, I'd love to invite you to do that. In fact, I invite you to go back and just review any of the podcasts that you discover back through January, because we just go through the entire badass acronym, and then I started all over. I've got some apples for you and some Mustang Mondays, and it's just all about a positive mindset and having a successfully badass attitude. That is what this is all about, because you've got to have a positive attitude if you're going to succeed or even thrive in what is going on in our world today. So sink into these questions and then answer these questions and review and celebrate how the year has gone for you so far. So do your best to identify 5 items for each question and answer them from the heart. This isn't about what looks good on paper, but what you are proud of, no matter how small or unimportant it might seem to others. So the questions that I'm posing this week are: list your top 5 achievements this year. This could be something big, small, or anywhere in between. What are you most proud of? And then the next question is, name 5 challenges that you overcame this year. What was hard? What are you proud of overcoming or dealing with? All right, so I go into more detail on the Wednesday podcast, but today is Fruitful Friday, and I've got some apples of wisdom for you, and then some weekend vibes. You know, there are moments in our lives that can only be described as truly extraordinary. The birth of a child, our first kiss, achieving a long-time goal, falling in love, death of a loved one. We often believe that extraordinary moments must be epic in emotion and relevance. There are many days when I stop to be mindful of my current surroundings, rather than spend energy thinking about what happened yesterday or taking stock of what might happen tomorrow. I have learned to appreciate a moment I find myself in. I know it may be impossible to live like that on a daily basis, a moment by moment mindfulness, but when a moment appears that you wish you could take out your smartphone and snap a picture, would be one of those extraordinary moments. Snuggling up with your grandchild, or taking out the phone, or talking on the phone with your son. Experiencing great customer service, or being blessed with somebody's gratitude when you've helped them out. Any moment can become extraordinary when you intentionally pay attention and live in the moment. Henry David Thoreau wrote, "You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment." Now, I loved this one today. This is one of my apples from the extraordinary theme. And I love this one because, you know, I had many of these mindful moments when I was in Sedona last week or last weekend. And one of them was in the backyard that we were staying in. Then we had this beautiful, beautiful view of the Sedona in the backdrop. But there was also this anthill that was being built and developed in the yard within the cracks in the concrete and the brick. And one morning I just couldn't help but just stand there, kind of squatted down, and just watched the ants do their job. And they were just all working together in tandem, bringing dirt in and rising it up and in and out. And I just sat there in the quiet and just was mindful of what was going on in this entirely other universe, and just realized that we too can just continue to keep going forward in our mindfulness and practice the moments by moments and not worry about the past or be overly concerned about the future. Losing someone or someone you love will knock the wind out of your life. Most of us have had our fair share of tragic events that pile on layers of grief and loss. So many carry that weight with them wherever they go, essentially allowing the loss to drain all of their happiness and zeal for life. I've seen plenty of clients who struggle with losses. Grief isn't designed specifically for a death of a person or a pet. Grief is found when we lose a relationship, a job, a home, or a dream that is no longer attainable. I've experienced loss in every one of those categories, and I want to share with you that you can experience extraordinary healing and live your life with happiness and zest. But you have to do some work. You just can't wish it away. If you're in need of extraordinary healing from a loss that has dropped a heavy load of grief on top of you, take that first step. Ask for help from a trained professional. Grief will stop you dead in your tracks. Is that really where you want to land? I don't think so. Reach out to someone you trust and take a step toward extraordinary healing. Now listen, they say that attitude is everything when it comes to personal and professional growth. I remember many years ago when I began this journey that I found myself on after my serious illness. I realized that although my life was never bad, I didn't always have a good attitude. I didn't have a plan. I lived day by day just hoping to get through it as I raised a family on my own. It was hard. I knew it was hard. People would ask me, how do you do it? I'd often respond with, well, I'm somewhat crazy, so that helps. Of course, I wasn't crazy in the mental illness sense. I just had a crazy life of nothing but obligations. I definitely wasn't living with an attitude of gratitude, mindfulness, and wisdom. When I became ill and nearly died, my attitude changed. I made drastic changes in my life's journey and no longer just let things happen. I learned to make things happen. That one shift in my attitude has led me to this extraordinary new season of growth. Attitude can be everything to one who wants to live an extraordinary life. Maybe it's time for you to consider an attitude adjustment. And that's what the D in badass means. Decide to grow and succeed. All right, so for some weekend vibes for you, what do you got planned? I'm having a Granberry sleepover. It's one of my favorite things to do. Granberry. That's what I call my grandchildren. They are Granberries instead of grandbabies. And so I'm having a Granberry sleepover with my two granddaughters who live close by, Reagan and Heidi. They are 10 and 8. And I don't know. I think we're going to do something fun. Usually they come over and they just want to chill out on my couch and, watch their videos that their parents don't let them watch. And I don't let them watch bad stuff. They're annoying videos. I agree they're annoying videos and they annoy their parents. So their parents don't want them to watch them. So when they come to my house, I allow them to watch them. I just tune it out, but we're going to do some other fun things. So what do you got planned for the weekend? I'm also going to be coming into the office. Last week I took last weekend off. In fact, I took like 4 or 5 days off. And so I've got some kind of projects I want to work on, end of year stuff, future forward things. Like I said, I've picked up this M-Wave technology for heart math, and I'm starting to share a little bit more about it because I'm going to start utilizing that additional technology. So I got to come in and kind of learn some stuff. But I also want you to know that for your weekend agenda, think about doing some good out there in the world. There's several things that we are supposed to be made aware of for the month of October. One of them is, I guess, domestic violence abuse. This is awareness about that. So be sure and, kind of check in on some people and some friends that you love. And also it's Breast Cancer Awareness month as well. So I wanted to share because I got some badass opportunities for you. So since October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as you know, I'm practicing out of Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center now. So I have partnered up with them for a badass opportunity for you to show your opportunity in any number of ways. I'm holding a live and in-person badass certification class the first time in 2 years. I know, I cannot believe it. Seats are already filling up for the class. It's a workshop to be held Friday, November 19th, right here at Michelle's Place. Tickets are for the 4-hour workshop are just $100 to become a certified badass. Includes lunch, your materials, your badass ID card. I'll teach you how to build your own badass soundtrack, which is a proven tool to give you a positive attitude adjustment to be successfully badass. I want you to know that $20 will go to Michelle's Place. So not only will you be supporting a small business, well, that's me, while becoming a certified badass, that would be you'll also be supporting Michelle's Place, breast cancer warriors. So that's why I say it's like an opportunity for you to support several people with just one purchase. Isn't that awesome? And you're going to become a certified badass. How can you miss out? I would love to see you there. So let me count you in. If you want to come, reach out to my badass brand strategist, Jennifer. Her email address is badassjen@licensed2bebadass.com. And when you write that, that's licensed to the number 2 be badass.com. badassjen@licensed2bebadass.com. That is it for me on this Fruitful Friday. Hey, Bobby, do you want to come to the badass certification class?
Who wouldn't want to be a certified badass? Just as apples are a core ingredient to a healthy diet, Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day is a core ingredient to living a fruitfully badass life. Sign up for the Badass Certification class. Like CPR for your mental health. Get started on your badass journey now. Go out and be fruitful.